What's going on, everybody? This is Jay with Island Hopper TV, and today we're going to talk about cities that you can stay for an extended period of time, depending upon your budget. I'll go through the list of my favorite cities and then explain which ones are more expensive or more affordable at certain times and are seasonal and whatsoever, whatever. This came up because someone on one of my other channels asked me where they would if they were a day trader, where would I recommend that you stay for 6 months? And my answer to them was, well, I'd spread it out probably across 6 cities. And I'll just give you those 6 cities in case you're just now tuning in and you want to know just what are the 6 cities to live in, right? You could say five or six, but all right. So here's cities outside the United States that you can live for an extended period of time: Singapore, Dubai, Hong Kong, Macau, Taipei. I'm going to go Europe on this one, say Lisbon. Okay. And the other one that I would have to add to the list is going to be Sydney, Australia. And it was a toss up between going with another European place like Zurich or Copenhagen. But because both of those places are more expensive, are fairly expensive, not to say that Sydney's not expensive, but also those places don't have what Sydney has, which is awesome beaches. So why did I pick those cities? Okay. So Hong Kong and Macau, you could say, are one and the same, but they are still far enough away. So you could go either one or two, or you could split time in between the two of those. But I like Macau because I like to gamble. I like cities like Vegas that aren't Vegas, and Macau has that feel to it. It's got that nightlife. It's up and coming, very modern. It's kind of like what it's like here in Dubai, but Hong Kong's more culturally rich and it's modern and it's got the food. But you can, if you get the 10-year Chinese visa, you can go Hong Kong, Macau, no problem. But if you wanted to go to Shenzhen or Guangzhou, which are all within that metropolitan area of Hong Kong, you will probably need to get that visa. But just that area has a lot to do, and you won't really get bored in that area. Now, the other city that I like is Singapore. Singapore has Indonesian islands that you can go to, Bataan, Batam. You can also go up towards Malaysia. Um, it's just, Jakarta is a hop, skip, and a jump away. Kuala Lumpur is a hop, skip, and a jump away. And Bali's not too far away. So just living in Singapore, a very modern, smart city. I really like Singapore and I do recommend it. What's going on, Skeleton Dot Elton? What up, man? Thanks for tuning in and smashing up that like. Um, so there you go. Those two right there, Hong Kong, Macau, and then Singapore, right? I say two because Hong Kong and Macau are kind of one and the same. Um, Dubai, which is where I'm currently posted up right now, and I really enjoy Dubai. Uh, it it's hot, and that's a downside. But outside of that, people are friendly. Uh, it's not too expensive in the summertime. So if you're looking to get affordability in Dubai, the winter you don't want to be here. It'll break your bank account. It'll shatter your bank account. But like I said, I'm staying in these hotels, under $100 a night. In these hotels, you can ride the metro all around. The metro is not too expensive. So I mean, and then dining out, that's your daily expense. I mean, you're not going to get this kind of luxury in many cities across the world that you're able to get here. I don't know what Baby Gold just said. So I don't know. Just Baby Gold. All right. And so, yeah, Dubai is pretty good. Uh, then another place that you can hang out. in Asia that I I like is Taipei. Taipei is pretty good. Tokyo is pretty good, but it's kind of expensive. Um, and then I got someone trolling this channel while I'm doing this or something. Uh, but it's got beaches nearby, beautiful weather. It's affluent. You know, you can drink and have fun, um, and do all that in a kind of like a Western environment. And then if we go over to Europe and we look at Lisbon, Portugal, I liked it because it's right there on the fringe of Europe. It's at the edge of Europe, but it's really just close to so many different things. And Portugal is just a fantastic place to hang out. They've got the Algarve close by. They've got Porto, which is one of my favorite cities in all of Europe that I've never even heard of. Spain's really close, and you can all of it's really accessible from uh, Portugal, and it's modern, which is pretty good. Barcelona is also a modern city. I don't know if I could live in Barcelona for 6 months, but I could live in Lisbon. I could see that working out. Now, Zurich gets an honorable mention because when I arrived in Zurich, I was like, wow, I could totally see myself chilling out in Zurich, but it is expensive, very expensive in Switzerland. Okay, so if we wanted to talk about some cities uh, that I would give honorable mention to, also considering dependent upon other factors, maybe budget or weather, or if you're into certain things. Um, I don't know what you're talking about, baby gold man. I'm cool with you, but I have no idea what you are even talking about. I seen your food on the ground. Oh man, like what? What's going on here? I gotta focus. Oh yeah, more Cali videos. Okay, so you're talking about Cali. All right, but so Gold Coast, Auckland, New Zealand, kind of expensive, but totally cool. Like Auckland, New Zealand is a place to consider posting up. I would post up long term in Auckland as well. It's something to research. Like my whole idea with this is to share with you guys the experiences. But in New Zealand, there's or near Auckland, there's so many different places you can check out, and Auckland is definitely in a pretty good area to be able to explore like the Coromandel and some of these other island or some of these other areas. Uh, Gold Coast, which is in Queensland, it's close to Brisbane, whatever you want to call it. But it's near Surfers Paradise. There's the Gold Coast right there. Tons of white sand beach. There are a lot of great white sharks. Another city, while we're talking about down under cities that I liked was Perth. I didn't care for Melbourne. Okay, I haven't been to Cairns, but M- Melbourne, it was cool, I guess. But if I had to pick, but my top picks are still the same: Dubai, Macau, Singapore, Hong Kong, Taipei, Lisbon. If we're just looking about if you're from outside the United States and you're looking for some cool places to hang out in the United States, I always consider Vegas to be a very vibrant city, but I actually prefer Reno to Vegas. So Reno, also known as the biggest little city, it's got everything Vegas has, but it doesn't have quite the hustle and bustle, and it's a little bit cooler. It's closer to Lake Tahoe. I could see myself chilling out in Reno. Reno is actually a fairly underrated American destination, and it's got the casino scene, which I like because I like to watch football and I like to parlay. That's so during football season or any sort of sporting season, you can go to Vegas and hang out, have a beer or two, meet, shoot, shoot the shoot the shit with people, and watch some sports games and make friends. Right? Hobbit Town in New Zealand. I don't know about that. That place is kind of overrated. But let's see here. So in the United States, other places you might want to consider if you're from outside. Uh, I think San Diego, although expensive, is a place you'd want to post off post up. If you had to choose between Los Angeles and San Diego, or if I had to choose, I would go with San Diego. But everyone likes their own different things. But San Diego is pretty decent to chill out. I thought Tampa Bay was all right. I think Jacksonville's pretty cool if you're into that kind of stuff, and maybe San Antonio or Austin. You might consider those. Phoenix is pretty decent, but I don't know. I think you could do better than Phoenix. Vancouver, if you wanted a city in Canada, you might look at also Montreal. I preferred Montreal over Toronto, but Toronto's more modern. If modern's your thing, go with uh, uh, Toronto over Montreal. But if you just want city vibe, Montreal's got it, whereas Toronto's still lacking it. Uh, in Europe, so like I said, some of the top cities that you might consider. I liked Lisbon, Barcelona, and Italy. If you wanted to take a look at a city, take a look at Milan. So Florence and Rome are kind of old. Milan's got a lot of new infrastructure. I didn't know that, so I think that's going to hit some people and some quality information. Milan, that's the spot you'd want to check out. Um, like I said, Lisbon in Portugal, Barcelona, Madrid. I thought Madrid was pretty cool. I could see hanging out in Madrid for a while. Madrid's a city you could post up in for sure. Uh, in the north, you've got Stockholm. I haven't been to Oslo, but I've heard good things about Oslo. Like I said, Copenhagen. I didn't care for Berlin too much. I would not recommend Berlin. Prague. Prague is a great city. I don't know if it's got the modern infrastructure you're going to need as a trader or as a digital nomad, but Prague was pretty cool. Same with what's it called? Why am I drawing a blank on this one? In Austria. I went there. Maybe I'm not supposed to mention it. Uh, the big town in the big city in Austria. It starts with a V, right? I'm really having a brain fart right now, but Austria has one town, not Salzburg, but the big one. Calm down. Billy Joel sings a song about it. Like I can't believe I'm drawing a blank on it. Oh my gosh, I've never had this happen. Uh, oh man, Vienna. There you go. Oh my gosh. Oh, I kept wanting to say Venice, but I was like, okay, Vienna has some modern infrastructure. It really does. But it's also it's a really romantic city, but um, it's a unique place. Vienna's different than any place else. So's Prague. So's Dubai. Um, you guys are right. It's Vienna. Um, some other places in Europe that just Switzerland. If you can post up in Switzerland, it's worth it. Almost anywhere in Switzerland, even Lucerne. Although Lucerne's kind of small. Bern, it's all right. But Zurich was really the one that if you're a digital nomad and you're trying to make money online, you'd want to be in Zurich. It seemed like. And then South America, I cannot answer. I can go back into more Asian topics, like if we talked about China. The problem with China, Shanghai, Beijing, is they have the Great Firewall of China, which makes it really difficult. You would need a VPN, but then again, that's kind of like, are you even allowed to have a VPN in China to get around the firewall, kind of thing? Helsinki, yeah, Helsinki seems cool. Another city that is probably worth an honorable mention is Tallinn, Estonia. Um, yeah, and if I was to go to South America, I would definitely look at Argentina. You're right about that, man. Buenos Aires, I think Montevideo and Uruguay. Uh, have I haven't heard too many tremendously great things about Brazil. I've heard some pretty good things about Peru and Chile, so I've really got to go there. But right now, I am in Dubai, and I do recommend if you are a digital nomad, Dubai between Dubai and Singapore, these are like my two favorite places. Maybe Hong Kong. Those those three. So Dubai, Hong Kong, Singapore, and Dubai. These are like the big three. If you guys are uh, if you got 2 months in each place, because Dubai, you got a 60-day visa. I don't know how much it is in Singapore. or Hong Kong, I forgot. Just don't get caned in Singapore. Yeah, no, that's not gonna happen. It's not like that. There are so many misperceptions about Singapore, uh, Dubai. I mean, it's just really amazing how many misconceptions have happened. Hey, how's it going, Darlene? Oh, Darlene, I don't know if I told you, but I was not able to get to the Dolce& and Gabbana store yet. I did look for it though. I promise. I did. And it just was eluding me, and then by that time, I was like they lured me in to go to the top of the Burj Khalifa, but I was trying to find it. I really was. It's the scary stuff that we remember. Yeah, it's also the overly exaggerated stuff that the news knows how to get just rail on about. But yeah, I mean, in Singapore, like people litter. I'm not saying you should. You should never litter, right? But I mean, people smoke outside and throw their buds on the ground, and it's not like there's some like police out there like looking to hem you up. That's not the case. Same here in Dubai. Like, I mean, there's so many misconceptions about Dubai. I wouldn't be here if I didn't think it was an awesome place or even like a safe place. But all the Americans I talk to, they think that Dubai is like people. I'll post a video on some of my other pages that have bigger followings on other platforms, and oh my gosh, I'll read the comments, and there's just so much just not true stuff. And I don't comment and respond to it because that's just opening up Pandora's box, and I don't want to go into that. But I will say that uh, there's a lot of misconceptions that are out there. So, some might have some validity, but there's a lot of exaggerations. So the press is the call. There's the primary problem with that. Um, Thanks for thinking about it. Hope you're having a great time. Did you ever make it to Oaxaca in Mexico or Palenque? Not yet. No, I haven't. Like, I hope you didn't mean did I like go to Palenque like right now? Because I'm in Dubai and that's a big flight. I know you didn't mean that, but no, I've never been to Oaxaca or Palenque. Have you? Yeah, man. Skeleton man. I'm telling you, these exaggerations are real. Like even China, like people will tell you. And I have to deal with it inside my own family. Like my dad, he's never left the United States really. He's gone to Mexico and that's about it. So his like worldview is very like inside a box. And I'll try to have a conversation with him about it, and it's a lost cause. This is my own dad. So I mean, it's it's literally a lost cause. Like I don't even know what he thinks if I told him I was living in the Middle East right now. Like I'm living in the Middle East right now for a couple weeks, right? To him, he has all these like media biases that have gotten into his mind about how things are. So if I were to have a conversation about it, he'd be like, "Oh no, this that." I'd be like, "Okay, I was there. Have you been there? Have you been there? Have you seen it firsthand?" Googled some cities in the Philippines before going there about safety, and if I'd listened to them, I wouldn't have went. Yeah, no kidding, man. I will say, Manila though does not. The Philippines is a place that I feel is just gonna boom at one point. Because here in Dubai, like a lot of the workforce, their strongest workforce is Philippines labor, and there's a lot of Filipinos, and Filipinos are some of the most efficient workforce as far as like human resource. Philippines, because they speak English, they have a good work ethic, and that's why they come. That's why like there's two uh countries that they import for human resource: Pakistan and well, I think there's some Indian here, but in Dubai they have a lot of Filipinos. They don't have Chinese, they don't have Japanese, they don't have like Vietnamese, they don't have Cambodians. But why do they have so many from Philippines? And it's because they are really just a great group of workforce, but it just makes you wonder, like, at what point is that workforce going to start uh, going to work in their own home country to have like a growth spurt, kind of like what we saw with China. Like China was there was a point in time where China was behind, and it was not considered great, and then someone saw that the human resource of manpower in China could be utilized to really grow China. And over the last 40 years we've watched China just rise just to so much power. And we've seen that here in Dubai, how if you look at pictures of Dubai 40 years ago, I mean, it was a dust. They had a little bit of infrastructure, but how much Dubai's grown in 30 to 40 years is unbelievable. And that's what got me thinking. I was like, I think the Philippines is primed for that kind of growth spurt. And I was talking to some people from Africa, like they were telling me that this girl, she was from Kenya, and she said that in Nairobi they had found oil. And I was like, "That's the same kind of story they had here in Dubai, where they found oil. It took a little bit of time to start developing the infrastructure, and then it just boomed." So, like, Africa's got there's actually quite a bit of Africans here in Dubai who also work. And so there's a multitude of different countries that are here in Dubai, but I haven't been to Africa, but I just feel as though Africa has so much potential, um, to real especially resources. As far as resources grow, there's a great wealth. The only thing that I would be concerned about with Africa is the wildlife. Like, there's so many, so it's kind of Edenic, right? Like there's lions, I mean, there's giraffes, there's rhinos, there's so much wildlife in Africa. If we start getting into this like hunt for resources, it could uh destroy the ecosystem in Africa, which I wouldn't think would be good, because that's like the last place on earth where you can see these kind of wild animals, right? Darren says, I went to Cebu and some of the smaller surrounding areas and found the people were friendly and courteous. Yeah, I mean, my friend's from or lives in Davao, and he stands by Davao as being a modern city in Philippines, whereas Manila is not. Manila, it might be getting better, but Manila's got a long ways to go to clean it up. At least that was the case in 2015. I haven't gone back to Manila. Like I could handle Bangkok and all that, but Manila, I just really could not handle Manila. And I love being around Philippines, people, and I think it's a beautiful country. But Manila is just that. It's that. It's that polluted. Like I'm talking like horrendously polluted. But I've heard people say, "Well, you didn't get to go around Manila good enough," and I just haven't had the idea to go back to Manila and go check it out because it left that sour of a taste in my mouth. But I'll have to try Manila again. I've heard Rwanda is a great country for digital nomad possibilities. Yeah, I mean, I've been hearing that, and like I said, I mean, Nairobi, these are welcoming to this world that we live in that's more connected, and there's no reason why Africa should not be having at least 3 or 4 types of cities like a Singapore, Dubai, or a New York, or a Frisco, or a Buenos Aires kind of city that people are yearning to go to. That would be my. Uh, I think that's where we're going with the direction we're headed. Even India should be getting some more. It just takes a little bit of adjustments in the way that the city's set up, a metro system, some modern infrastructure to make it more welcoming. Oh yeah, I want you to get on a plane and check it out. Mexico, you're pretty serious about this Planko. I gotta look at Planko. Uh, I better type in Oaxaca. At least I know how to say Oaxaca the right way instead of like going Oaxaca, Oaxaca. So at least I know that, but that's a tough one to say. Like that's a real tough one. I don't even know if that's a native word or if that's a Spanish word. Oaxaca de Juarez looks beautiful. Looks beautiful. Oaxaca's a state. Okay. Oh yeah, it's beautiful down there, Darlene. You're right. Wow. Looking at pictures on Google, Oaxaca is gorgeous. And they got like a volcano, huh? Wow, they've got some what? What is that? All right. That's a good idea. Guys, go look on Google at Oaxaca, OAXC, or I can't even remember, OAXACA. Can you go over the top cities again for those of us who just joined? Okay, so my top three are the ones that I recommend if you're a digital nomad. Okay, Hong Kong, Singapore, and Dubai. Tokyo's not on the list. Shanghai's not on the list. Beijing's not on the list. Seoul, South Korea is not on the list. You could say Taipei. I would prefer Taipei over even Tokyo. And Tokyo is a pretty good city. It's just, I mean, Tokyo's good. There's something about Tokyo that just doesn't strike me like Hong Kong or like even Taipei strikes me more inviting than Tokyo for me. What about Vietnam? I haven't been to Vietnam because of that visa. I like to travel to places that right when you show up there, they stamp your passport. You don't have to like apply online. Although I did apply to go to Sri Lanka, so I have an electronic visa for Sri Lanka that expires within 30 days. So I have to go to Sri Lanka if I want to use it. But I've just been hanging out in Dubai, and I like Dubai so much that I'm just hanging out here. Kind of like how I like Singapore. Like Dubai's got me, like Singapore got me, and Hong Kong got me. But Macau, the thing about Hong Kong that makes Hong Kong extra special, like I was saying earlier, you've got Guangzhou, Hong Kong, Macau, Shenzhen, all within the metropolitan area of Hong Kong. And so that's what I like about that. Zihuatanejo in Mexico, I haven't been there. Yeah, Singapore is really easy. The reason I'm stuck on Mexico is because so many Americans are moving there. Are they? Good. That's good. When I was in Greece, the islands, so like you know how the Greek islands are really famous worldwide, like Santorini, Mykonos, all these beaches, like you keep seeing them on Facebook. Go to Greece, go to Greece, go to Greece. Instagram, same thing. Um, when I went when the the stars and see all the stars, but Santorini, I could see tons of stars. Obviously, low light pollution, out in the middle of the ocean. Of course, you can see stars. When I woke up in the morning, first thing I did was look around and I was like, this reminds me of Baja, Mexico. So, where's Baja, Mexico? You got Tijuana, Ensenada, Rosarito, Cabo, right? And you've got some in between, like I drawing a blank right now, but I know there's some in between, and I always get fixated on this idea, and then I got to remember what it is. But I'm just going to move forward. But La Paz, so I got to thinking, I was like, well, isn't there islands in the Gulf of California? They call it Golfo de California or Baja. You know, there's that body of water that extends all the way up to Puerto Penasco, which is where the Colorado River probably created that little gulf, right? Anyway, so in that gulf, there's islands. And I was like, those gotta look like they look here because Santorini, if you've ever been to Santorini, it is all desert. Like the only thing that makes Santorini that amazing is they make these specific type of architecturally designed homes, white buildings with blue roofs and across the top like churches, right? And so everything's white. And then they lay these rocks. So they lay like granite and then they paint white in between the grout. So the grout is not cement, it's just white paint. Like it's not even a white cement. Um like you'll go there and you'll be like, "Hey, this whole time I thought that was like white cement." Maybe they have some white cement that made it cool first, but it's really just painted cracks. And then you put some oleanders, right? And that's Greece. It's really simple architecture, but people just eat that stuff up like it's candy. They want to go there for it. And I was like, yeah, but Mexico has islands that are just as deserty. Like Santorini hardly has any beaches. Okay. Um, but I got to thinking, I was like, man, there's got to be some beaches you can, or there's got to be some islands in Mexico you can develop that could become the next big thing. But because I mean, this is Island Hopper TV, so obviously what am I thinking about? Islands, right? Like the whole Baja coast up and down is like beachfront property. If you were to extend the Baja, like straighten it out because it's Baja goes like that. It's like east and west coast. If you were to straighten it out, how many miles of coastline do you think that is? That's a lot of coastline. And for the most part, it's uninhabitable or it hasn't been um, developed. There could be reasons, but that's a lot of oceanfront property ready to be primed up and developed. And it's not too it's almost the same kind of coastline as you have in California. You know, they've developed all of Southern California from like Santa Barbara all the way down to San Diego is just developed. But once it gets to Tijuana, you've got like very little infrastructure, but it's actually just as beautiful coastline, but it's undeveloped yet. The Dubai 4K screensaver on Apple TV is kind of insane. Yeah, I mean, if I could only get those kind of shots on a clear day, like today was an all right day. I took some pretty cool videos. I got, I'll show you just some of my recent shots that I got. Like this is the Dubai frame. It's a pretty cool thing. It's built using the golden ratio, which obviously when I saw that, I was like, okay, what's the golden ratio again? Like there's a side shot of it. And you go up to the top and show you what it looks like at the top. Like they have one of those things where you can look down. So you can see like you can look down. It's one of those kind of like scary things where you look down. But that's how it looks from the top of the Dubai frame. That's not very good footage. It looks like not coming in very clear. That was not a good example. Sorry about that. Here's a little bit better example. Uh, maybe too bright of lights. Here, let me show you another video from Dubai here while we're doing this. This was a really cool shot, and I'm only showing you this because it's pretty cool. Oh man, but you can see how high up I was to get that shot. Kind of looks like something out of the Jetsons, right? This is here in Dubai at the top of this hotel. This is $100 a night hotel. At the top is this bar. And I went up there at like noon and I had a cup of coffee and I had that view. Like, where else are you going to get that view? I said to the bartender, I said, man, I said, you got the best view in the world for a job. Of course, you know what he said? He was like, are you sure? No, I was like, you got the best job in the world, huh? And he's like, are you sure about that? So obviously, you know, the grass is always greener on the other side, but it was a heck of a great view. Um, okay, Dubai looked cool, but if you get in trouble, yikes. Okay, so there's a lot of media about that, like um the media Dubai has had to change some of its laws to become more lenient, but why are you going to get in trouble in Dubai kind of thing? Like, I mean, are you going to be doing something that probably not, right? Like, I mean, you're just going to come here, you're going to travel around and you know, it's one of those kind of things, but it could happen. I mean, but for the most part, I mean, they're not looking to like ruin their travel product by putting some Westerner in jail for some petty reason. That's the thing. Same with the Singapore thing. Like people were like, "Oh, Singapore, they'll cane you if you litter." No, not gonna happen. Uh, yeah, some countries like Philippines, you can't also buy property in Mexico either. You have to lease it. It's a 100-year lease, and that's if the laws stay the same, right? Any of these cities cannabis friendly? No, no. Hong Kong, the only foreign place that I've been to that might be cannabis friendly. Those are all in Europe. You'd have to go to Europe for that. Cannabis friendly, obviously Amsterdam. Seemed like there was a bunch of that in Ibiza, Mallorca, which is where Palma is. Probably Barcelona. Smelled that stuff. I think I even smelled it in Switzerland. Mostly Europe, but not in Asia or the Middle East. What would be your top city in Europe? Well, for being a digital nomad, I did say Lisbon. But if you have big money, you might want to post up in Zurich. If you like Italy and being close to it all, Milan, Copenhagen. If you prefer the north, I would not stay too long in London. Mm-mm, no, 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 or Dublin. Like the British Isles, geographical British Isles, not political British Isles. I know that Ireland is not a part of Britain. Okay, but uh, I just don't care for it. It's not where I wanna live. Okay, I'll give the top 3 cities one more time because Island B's asking. Macau, Hong Kong, Singapore, and Dubai. So, Jeff, I'm curious, why did you decide to buy a home in Phoenix when you travel so much? Oh, because, I also have a house and I was paying rent, and I was like, why pay rent when you could, own?" So that's why. And I said, "Well, if I was gonna where can I get a really," like, when I come home from traveling, like, traveling can be pretty exhausting. I've actually decided to stay in Dubai for a little bit because I kinda got travels fatigue. Like, I was traveling so much. You guys remember, I went through so many countries in Europe. I think I went through, like, I don't even know how many. I didn't even count them. Ireland, uh, the UK, Netherlands, Germany, Austria, Czech Republic, Switzerland, France, Portugal, Spain, Greece. Did I say Switzerland? Italy. I mean, there was a lot. And I traveled real fast and I think I kind of got exhausted. Like I woke up in my room and I was just like literally like exhausted, freaking exhausted. So I just needed this like recharge and I needed a city like Dubai to recharge and it's delivering. Lisbon, yeah, why Lisbon? I don't know. It has this like modern infrastructure, really good weather, friendly people, good food. It's also like diverse. Like there's a lot of diversity there. There's like people from Africa there. There's people from like Arabia there. There's people from India there. There's people from Europe. And it's friendly. There's not like the tension that you have in the United States where that's why I keep blaming the media for all this like divide, this racial tension that's in the United States because it's all driven by the media. Like you watch something on the media, the next thing you know, it's like it's gonna like reconfirm like ideas in your head that don't need to be there. Whereas like all these diverse places, they don't need someone else telling them how to think. In the United States, the media just keeps getting people more like they're literally trying to divide people and, like, I even started trying to watch CNN the other day, and I was like, "Ooh, I gotta turn this off. It's giving me bad ideas, like things that I don't need to hear." It's like toxic. It's toxicity because I felt like they were trying to manipulate my mind to like find an enemy, and like do identity politics. And um, they just don't have that over here, and it's really nice because you can interact with people from all over the world and just be normal and just be yourself. So that's what I like about travel is just like meeting people and just not having to get my information or getting my opinion from the media or the news because that's like manipulative thought. Not trying to like do a conspiracy here, but it's not good. It's not. People are people. I mean, it's easy to get along with people, okay? But if you're watching news in the morning and then they've got a story that's geared to help you to, you know, look at someone or something in a light that is unfair, a preconceived notion. It's not healthy. Like people here, they don't even watch the news, I don't think. So it's just their only interactions, their only view on things is how they interact with you all the time. Is people. Are you enjoying your journey? Yeah, I am. I'm enjoying my journey. Yeah, I stopped watching the mainstream media, man. I turned on like the TV over here because I was like, oh, I'll watch TV. Is BBC. I don't even know what they were talking about, but I was just like, they talk all smart and everything, but it's totally like manipulation. And they want you to like pay attention to certain people, so they talk about certain people so you could pay attention to them. I'm like, I could really not. I don't care about those people. Like these like leaders of places and stuff. Like that's what they talk about. Check out Tel Aviv. Yeah, I okay. I would like to check out Israel. I mean, I'm still just trying to decide, should I go east towards Bali, Sri Lanka, or should I go west towards Egypt, Turkey, Morocco, Israel? So it's kind of, I'm still on the fence here. The thing that I have to do that I'm not looking forward to is that long flight across one of the oceans. Oh, yeah, you guys are talking about Trump. Like, he sent tweets out before that have, like, totally ruined my, like, trip almost. Like, he'll, like, make a threat toward like, right now, like, he threatened the president of Iran the other day. He's like, "To the president of Iran, this and that," and I'm like, "Oh, whoa, do I need to, like, catch the next flight out of here because is this about to be a hot zone?" He did the same thing when I was over in Asia. He, like, sent this, like, deep threat to, like, Kim Jong Un, and I was like, "Okay, okay, do I need to get the heck out of like or like when I'm in China and he tweets to the president of China saying like some crazy stuff, I'm like, because that's the kind of stuff that'll like, as a foreigner, put the light on you, and you're like, whoa, 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 whoa. I'm not trying to have any attention. I'm just chilling out, you know. But it like there's been some tweets where I'll be like on here and it'll like pop up in my Twitter. I'll be like swallow, like when you swallow your like atoms out, you're like, okay, is this about to get hairy here? Like he did one thing, like I remember when I was in Thailand and I was around a bunch of Russian people and he like tweeted something about Russians and like how he was like and I remember just like saying like, "Oh man, are these Russian people going to like start judging me for being American? Are they going to be like friendly towards me?" Yeah, I'm not, I travel by myself. I mean, I'm just saying like who knows? But it's not convenient when he's that bombastic, that's for sure. And then this morning, he tweeted about LeBron James or something, and I was just like, "That's not a very presidential tweet at all." Oh, my bar and business? Um, Philippines. Although I was just talking about the Philippines. There's just some like maybe Mexico, but it's just both of those places won't let you buy properties. So then I have to maybe consider an up and coming place like Cambodia, but then they don't have the business, but they got the beaches, and then there's like, so we'll see. I mean, I the United States doesn't interest me to have a bar or restaurant in because that's, it's expensive and they're just not fun. I just like that like fun thing. Like Ibiza would be a fun place to have a bar, but those are probably just that's like really expensive by now. That's where I really got the inspiration. I haven't been to Cambodia yet. The only thing stopping me from going back into Asia right now is just the heat. It's like so hot there right now. Humid hot. Like humid. Ibiza taxes, yeah, the taxes are too high. So I can't go to a place that's already established like the United States because that's not what I'm looking to do. I'm looking to like have like a tiki bar. You know what I'm saying? I guess Greece. There's some places in Greece I could probably do it that are up and coming, but then again, I'm not Greek, so I'm sure there's some loopholes or that I'd have to jump through to get that. Arizona, So any place can be marketable as a tourist destination if you get the old money out of the way. The old money is super problematic for our generation because, and this is just my theory on it. Old money, they just like the status quo. Like Buffett, what does he like? He's an old man, so he likes things that make money consistently. He's not interested in doing any sort of innovative stuff. He's not interested in anything innovative, right? Because if like that's why he likes Coca-Cola stock, he likes McDonald's stock. He just now starts to like Apple, even though he didn't like Apple and he didn't like Amazon because it was all innovative. But now that it's profitable for so many years on his books, he likes it. But he's got billions, right? Berkshire Hathaway is a very expensive company, are worth a lot of money, but they will not bring about a lot of innovation. Like they don't like the cryptocurrency thing. They don't like Bitcoin because that requires too much effort. And by the way, they'll probably look at it, they're not going to be around to really enjoy it. So why invest in it? That's a problem, right? Because with historically, it's like I remember being in Hawaii, I'd be like, man, whoever planted that palm tree that gives us shade, what a great old man. He's probably not old man or old woman. They're probably not here to enjoy that palm tree and what it became, but they built that for us. Well, right now, a lot of old money, they don't think like that. They don't think about the future generations. They just think about their bottom line right now. And there's a lot of places in the United States where I see a lot of potential, but it's on lockdown by a lot of old money that's just not letting anything really develop or become anything. And Arizona is one of those places that could become something, but it's going to need an art renaissance. So any place in the United States, heck, even Omaha, Nebraska, or uh, any Tulsa, Oklahoma, could become a beautiful place. How do I know this? Look at Aguda, Portugal. It's an umbrella village. It's not coastal. It's actually way out of the way. It's hard to get to, but it's on the map right now because all they did was they decorated their streets with umbrellas and these colorful things, and now they have a colorful waterway or walkway. There's nothing special about that place other than they have an umbrella street. Well, Phoenix, Arizona could build some like colorful streets just like that. Social media can make it famous. And it's really that easy. And a lot of it just stems from art. So a little bit of an art renaissance, some infrastructure, and a metro system, and America could be like a great travel product. Oh, Croatia, yeah. Croatia's become more and more popular. Warren Buffett also owns Krispy Kreme donuts. Oh, good for Warren. I'm glad he's owning Krispy Kreme. I've never heard of Amelia Island, Darlene. I really haven't. I don't know. Darlene, you sound like you should start going into real estate down in Mexico. You are huge on Mexico, which is great because I actually like Mexico. I've always liked Mexico, and being that I'm moving to Arizona, Mexico's the paradise that Hawaii was for me. But now that I'm so far away from Hawaii, right? What's close? It's a paradise, and that's Mexico. Yeah, Mexico. I mean, there's Cabo, like this, like I said, the whole Baja. I mean, I love Rosarito, Ensenada. Cancun just looks fantastic. I went to Mexico City. I mean, it's got a lot of people, but the pollution down there is kind of a little bit out of control. You'd be just out in Mexico and there's like mounds of trash just on the side of the road, like all over. Like there's prickly pears with like, prickly pear cactus, and they've got like bags of like ice cream, sundae packages, and Cheetos, and Coca-Cola can on top of them. Like it's like, guys, put your trash in a dumpster. This is why I believe that waste management is one of those sectors that uh, is is going to be very important in the developing countries. Like Philippines could benefit greatly from waste development. You've seen those videos or those pictures of like oceans where they've just got plastic bottles all in there, and they've got um, just so much pollution in the ocean. It's disgusting. And but they've got beautiful palm trees and like nice sand and just a lovely jungle right there, but they've got too much pollution in the water because waste management isn't properly being addressed. And that's why I wanted to invest in Waste WM. It's a stock, WM. back when it was below $50. I think it's up, but I was like so motivated to get into waste management. I was like, is there any stocks out there that I can invest in? Oh, funny. I should have bought it when it was under $50 because now it's at 89. I mean, my hunch was right, but I didn't do it because I was like, $50, that's a lot for one stock. I was like, I could own three for 150. That was back when $150 was a lot of money for me. Um, that's the same in Manila, Philippines with pollution very crowded. That's why I was saying I don't be Manila's. I'm not in too big of a hurry to go back to Manila or the Philippines in general because of that. But there's a beautiful places in Philippines. Oh my gosh. It's just they're very overpopulated and the waste management situation is atrocious. It's non-existent. One of the things that could help Manila just right off the cuff would be more trash cans on the side because like when I was in the tuk tuk, one of those guys with the mopeds that give you a ride around on the side of their little carriage tuk tuk things. The guy, we went in there, we got a little snack or something. You know what he did? He crumbles it up and he throws it over his head onto the ground. I'm not gonna say anything. It's his country, but I was like, and I look at the ground. I'm like, there's tons of these little packages and little things all over the ground. That's just what they think. Well, why is that? Well, it's because they don't put any trash bins on the side of the street. I said, why don't you guys put more trash bins out here for people to discard their trash? And they said, because people will steal them. I said, oh, that's a lazy excuse because what can you do if people are going to steal it? Well, put it into a cage and put a lock on it so that when the dumpster guy comes, he just unlocks it, pops the thing open, and then pulls the trash can out. I mean, there's a workaround for everything. And that came to me right then and there. I was like, no, if that's your reason, then you guys aren't thinking or you're just not really caring about pollution. Yeah, just putting more waste, having more awareness. Like, I don't really like PETA and I don't really like these like extreme vegans and stuff, but at the same time, their mission can be very efficient, like being health conscious or eco-friendly is a good thing. It's not a bad thing. It's everything in excess is a bad thing, right? Like if I litter too much, that's a bad thing. Or if I become too dogmatic about my preaching about my theory, then that's a bad thing, right? So everything in moderation, but there's still got to be like an emphasis on like hygiene, right? That's what it is. Just like you have hygiene for your body, the community has to have hygiene for the city. Philippines has some very clean and beautiful places, but larger cities have a lot of trash and pollution. That's exactly what I found too. But there was some serious problems in the places I went to, like bad. Manila being one of them. Skeleton says, all things in moderation, including moderation. Yeah. Yeah. Someone is enjoying the shade under a tree today because someone planted it years ago. Yeah. I mean, they're in the Hawaiian culture. It's actually very, uh, there's a great emphasis on taking care of the Aina, which is land. And also, this is common among the Pacific Islands. The rock is is appreciated because that rock is here. Let's just say there's a big rock. That rock is here before I come and after I come, meaning my life. That rock is still there. So like the appreciation of the rock because it's there. The land is there when we come and go. It's always there, right? So, but also the Kapuna, their role was to uh, leave it, kind of like the way it's supposed to be. Leave it better than it was. If you're going to use it, at least make it better than it was, kind of thing. And I just don't think a lot of this old money, especially the baby boomer generation, uh, has their emphasis on that. And that's a pet. That's a concern of mine because I was even talking to a baby boomer about it, and he agrees with me. He's 72. He's the same age because I don't know if you guys know this. George Bush, Donald Trump, and Bill Clinton are all 72 years old. They're all the same age. Okay, they all have been president at different times, but they're all the same age, born in the same year. You can look it up. But the point is that he doesn't have this fixation on money that these baby boomers have. And I was watching this other documentary on the plane over here from Portugal to Dubai, and the documentary was talking about how when the baby boomers were coming up, they were demanding that the older generations give them the keys to the car to take over. So what I'm saying is they demanded that it was their time to take over and that it was their world because they're the youth up and coming, but they haven't been the ones to turn over the keys to the youth to let them now take over the keys. So they want it on both ends. They want it going, they want it coming up and they want it going away. So that baby boomer generation, as long as they're in power and in control, we're going to still deal with a lot of these things, and we're not going to be able to break free from it until they turn it over to the young folks, which I think we're more than ready, and I think we're competent enough, but we just haven't been able to do it. And I'm talking people, you know, Gen X, pretty much the Generation X, has not been given an opportunity to do much. Maybe I'm a millennial. I don't know if I'm millennial or Gen X, but either way, it's we need a changing of the guard. I mean, we need term limits in Senate because I mean, like I was saying, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's holding up progress. It's holding up progress. That's what it is. It's holding up the progress. Anyways, guys, it's 56 minutes into this video. Thanks to everyone who's been watching. I mean, I can keep going, but you said digital nomad, you can become e-resident of Estonia online. No need to even move there. Okay, that's cool. That's an interesting fact. That's an interesting fact. Um, No, I'm not really a gangster. I travel by myself. Not so, I mean, I have friends, of course, but, I don't travel in gangs or anything like that, but I think I know what you're saying. You can tell I've been around a lot of people who 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 taught me some of their ways, right? Youngster, Jeff, youngster, yeah, there you go. Yeah, I travel alone, like, I was even thinking about, like, creating a channel to specifically talk about solo travel, because solo travel, I don't think a lot of people have the confidence, and I understand that. I understand that. Like, if it wasn't for me being in the Navy and like them taking us places and me having been there, I might not have been so prone to come back to places like Dubai. Like, if the Navy had never brought me to the Middle East to Dubai, and all I did was listen to the media, no joke, I probably would be intimidated to come to Dubai. But because I had already been here and I already knew what to expect, I was able to come here and be like, "Yeah, I'll go to Dubai. Sure, why not?" But if I listened to the media, I would be like, "Oh, no, did you hear those stories about blah 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 and this and that?" You see what I'm saying? I mean, as far as like traveling solo, it really you just don't want to go out at night and drink too much. That's the only time I've ever had any issues. It's like if I get too carried away with the drinks. It's not because people are looking to like, well, I don't know. There was one time I lost my phone. I don't know where it went, and then I ended up checking my bank account. I was like, "How did I pull out that much money?" But I was really drinking a lot. That was in Thailand because I was having a lot of fun. She says you should go to Iran. Then I heard Tehran is amazing. No, my grandpa actually told me specifically I cannot go there. He told me don't go there. I told him, "Well, how about there? How about there?" He's like, "Yeah, sure, yeah, sure." No, not there, not there. That was the one place he told me no. Um, Although here in Dubai, I've talked to a couple. I ate Iranian food. Uh, and the guy was from Iran. He asked me where I was from. I said, he's like, "Oh, are you Muslim?" I was like, "No, I'm not." And he's like, "Oh, you like Iranian food? Where are you from?" I was like, "America." And he's like, "Oh," and I'm like, "Yeah, but I like American food." And he's like, "Oh, that's good." So I mean, we had a common thing. We like food, right? And went above and beyond to like show me some of the Iranian cuisines, like kebabs, and all was cool. Branson, Missouri. Okay. That's the Ozarks, maybe. I don't know. Best waterfall in Maui? Ooh. Hana, you just go to Hana, I mean, go past Hana, and there's a couple different waterfalls that you can hike up to. Uh, I've forgotten the names already. I really have, but I've been to them. I've hiked up to them. There's one that you hike up to from, Haleakala National Park. So you stay the night, you camp at Haleakala National Park, you wake up in the morning and you hike up to the waterfall, and it's pretty beautiful, it's pretty amazing. There's also the pools of Ohio, which seem to always be closed lately. Oh yeah, there's awesome people all over. I mean, that's the thing. Like Persians are awesome. I mean, even Arabs are been really friendly to me. They have a sense of humor. They're funny. But I didn't know what to expect when I was talking to people because I had the media. Like Arabs, I've joked around with many of them, and they're friendly. Like they're not what you would imagine, but you just have to just be open to talk to them. So everyone's cool. Everyone has been cool from all places for real. That's the great thing about traveling is you get to see like how much humanity there is in people. And when you're traveling by yourself, you get to appreciate it. Yeah, people are essentially good. I mean, that's what it comes down to, humanity. Like, I see more humanity outside of the United States than I see in the United States. The United States has a lack of humanity. Like, the humanity is, the natural state of human, right? Is it's just like animals, like dogs by their own nature are friendly, right? Humans are also peaceful, friendly from everywhere. It's just the nature of humanity. That's what I mean by humanity is like animals in nature. Like even sharks. Like people think that sharks are like some ferocious. Uh, yeah, I mean, great white's a little bit more aggressive. I don't know if I'd swim with a great white next to me. Like I'd swim with a sand shark or a lemon shark or something. But even tiger sharks, if you go to Hawaii, you'll know that tiger sharks are the ones that are responsible for people getting bit, right? But plenty of people swim with tiger sharks, no incident. Their nature is friendly, right? Yeah, everyone it's not even about wanting to feel, it's just naturally people are just people. Like it's when they start getting, I'm telling you the truth when I say this. This is my theory. I'm saying my theory is truthful theory here, right? When you start consuming things online, YouTube, CNN, Fox News, whatever, that's when you start to lose your humanity, I think. That's just my opinion. And because there's so much access to technology in the West and the United States, that's why I think they've got less humanity than even humility, less humility. Like pride, I don't think pride is a very friendly human attribute to have. What about my grandpa? Oh, I'll return to Hawaii for sure. I don't know if I'll live there. Online dating for solo? Um, are you a man or a woman? So there's certainly some, like I have my Tinder app. I don't think I've met anyone from Tinder in any of my travels, like yet. Right. I think I met one in Asia, but for me, I need more time to get to know someone than 3 days, online. Like I need to, is this going to be worth it, kind of thing. But um, some cities for me blow up on Tinder, and some cities I don't really get much, right? Kind of like matches, right? So, um, I would say Dubai, I get a lot of matches, whereas like I don't think I got anything in Germany, anything really. I might have got like 3. When I say like if I check my phone right now, I'll have matches from Tinder. You know what I'm saying? Here in Dubai. Because it's a melting pot city. Singapore, the same thing. Hong Kong, the same thing. So again, part of the reason I think I like Dubai, Singapore, Macau, Hong Kong is because there's that um it's a good city to go on dates too because it's very affluent. Like there's a lot of like restaurants, there's variety, there's easy transport, and having that connection or that ability to be a single as a digital nomad is important. So that I think factored into why I picked these three. So yeah, I think the dating scene uh, played a factor in why I picked these three. Truthfully, if I jog my mind as to what else I liked about it, aside from the food. Like food is big. Like I was telling you guys in my last video, gastronomy, the study of culture and food, is big in Europe. Like they had scientists to study gastronomy. Like people in Europe, they travel for the food. It's about the food. The food is it. The United States, it's about, is there a sandy beach there? Is there like palm trees? Is it tropical? Right? That's what Americans, or if they're younger, they're like, can I party? you know, it is what it is. But in Europe, they want to know how's the food, right? They're foodies, and so I think food is a very important aspect of travel. Hong Kong, Singapore, and Dubai all have a lot of varieties of food, and it's pretty good. Gastronomy, yeah, that's right, gastronomy. If we were going to return to Hawaii to live, which island would ultimately win out for you and why? Mm. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe the Big Island, North Big Island, like Kohala. Like I like Kohala ever since I ever laid eyes on it the first time. Like I always said, I also liked Maui. I like Maui because of the accessibility to Lanai. So like probably if I was to go back to Maui, I'd probably strive to be up in Lahaina. But the thing that really frustrated me about Maui and Lahaina was the lack of care for manicuring the streets, and like Lahaina can stink like sewage, but they'll still have rooms at hotels for $500 a night. Like this hotel is better than the best hotel you'll get in Maui for under 100, and over there it's 500. Okay. But the town will stink like sewage. Why? Because they haven't modernized their infrastructure, because old money doesn't want to invest in that. Also, they'll have oleander plants that are just like crawling into onto the streets, like they don't manicure the streets, but they're making a lot of money. Why? Because the people who own those resorts, they don't live on island, they live off island, so they don't really care about that as long as it's making them money. That's what it's all about. It's about the money, not about taking care of the community. And at some point, there's going to have to be some modernization in even Waikiki. Like go to Waikiki, the hotels, they're not very modern. Like you'll stay in a $300 hotel and it's like built in the 70s, and it's not very nice, and the bed's not very comfortable. And that's a problem. And I don't like it. You get it? You see what I'm saying? So at some point, there's going to have to be some modernization that takes place, like a building boom. But I'm not saying like a sprawling building boom. I'm talking about like a um, remodeling. They're gonna have to like shut down the hotels for a little bit and like do some repairs and modernize it and make it nice, because it's oh, see you later, man. Is Lisbon good for a digi nomad? Yeah, Lisbon is good. International bachelor. Well, dude, I mean, go to Hong Kong, go to Singapore, come to Dubai. I'm telling you, those are the three pretty good spots. All right, guys, I'm out of here. It's over an hour. I gotta sleep too. Good night.